It is no longer news that relocation is having a huge toll on marriages in the abroad. A lot of marriages have been affected and some are having seemingly unreconcilable differences. My gender seems to be doing a little too much and the men seems to be unwilling to bend to the new realities of life in the abroad. What are the real issues here and how do you navigate them? Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Olajumoke Egbolan. If this is your first time on my channel, I want to say a warm welcome to you. And if this is not your first time, you've liked, you've shared, you subscribed, you told a friend to subscribe, you smashed the notification button, guys, you're the real deal. And I want to say thank you. Today's video is a very serious and sensitive issue. A number of marriages have been affected based on relocation, navigating life here in the abroad and getting by. And this has really, stirred a lot of things in my heart, and I know that there's no better time to talk about this than now. What are really the main issues here and how do you navigate them such that you do not lose your marriage on the premise of relocating to the abroad? The truth is that nothing really prepares you for the challenges that you will be faced with when you relocate. These are challenges that are not premeditated most of the time. However, I want to say that one of the things that one needs to do even before embarking on relocation is to have prepared your mind as touching a number of things that really mean a lot to you. If your marriage means so much to you, one of the things you would have wanted to consider would be, I'm not exchanging my marriage, with relocation. I'm not exchanging my relationship with God with relocation. I'm not exchanging my relationship with my children with relocation. However, join me as we look at 6 major issues that I know that a lot of marriages are faced with. Number 1 will be unmet expectations. Guys, before relocating, a lot of us have high expectations, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. However, 3 months down the line after relocating, you are still unsettled. You've thought that you would have had the life you had back in your own country or even something better than that. But down the line, nothing is happening. You are getting frustrated. Negative emotions are flying here and there. You are beginning to throw blames at your partner for maybe not taking one advice or making a mistake, or you are just really unhappy and in a very, tight place. And this is affecting a lot of marriages. Guys, can you really calm down? The hard truth is that nobody actually gave you a timeline of when you will be settled. Everyone has a different path in where they are on their journey in the abroad. And so nobody gave you and said, hey, in 3 months, you will be settled. You will have the life you had back in your own country or something better than that. Nobody did that. So you sat down, you thought about it. And now that you are faced with your new reality, you want to sit down and you want to unthink your thoughts and face the realities on ground. Your partner is not the problem here. Anybody could have even made a mistake in the process, but they are not the problem. So working together in one accord to say, okay, this is where we are at. How can we re-strategize? What can we do better? Don't just sit down mourning and, being upset with your partner, transferring aggression on your partner and making things look worse than they really are. I know that every one of us have had high expectations of even what your marriage will look like, and 3 months down the line is looking like it's going completely opposite of what you have imagined. Calm down, please. A lot of people have been in this situation, and I can only tell you that it's just a matter of time. Everything will be settled. Do you now want to lose your marriage on the premise of not being settled? At the end of the day, you will eventually be settled. Having issues with your partner or, throwing tantrums with your partner doesn't even make you settle down any faster. So we want to calm down and we want to reassess things and work with our partner. I want to believe that you worked with your partner towards your coming here. So why would you get here and then you want to throw your partner away, or you want to say, no, things are not working just because you are not yet in a happy place or in a settled mode? Number 2 reason will be sexual intimacy. Now guys, you remember back in our own country when we see small rain, or the weather is, and you say weather for two. Here in the abroad, the weather for two is back to back to back to back to back. And now you can imagine having this kind of weather for two, and then the two is not even available. Now what are the issues that could be responsible for this? Your partner maybe has started work. It's a long work, doing a 12-hour shift. I know not everybody does that, but most people do. And then your partner gets back and then is tired, is overwhelmed, is cranky, hungry and all of that. Whereas you are thinking, when you come back today, you are both in a completely different space in your mind. And your partner is forming, I'm having a headache, I'm tired, and this goes both ways now. I'm not even pointing fingers at anyone, and then your partner is all cranky and all of that, and you're like, what's this? How long ago? And all of that. The truth of the matter is that this will be tough for a lot of couples. And one way I can advise you, to handle this situation is to automate or to schedule sexual intimacy. Guys, it works. Now imagine, let me use myself as an example. I am off at work. My husband is at home. When he's at home, I'm off at work. Sometimes we don't even see ourselves for 2 days or 3 days, and we live in the same house. And sometimes when he's even around, I'm busy sleeping because I work on a night shift. So there are ways to go about it to say, okay, not that you don't even have any days you spend together, but you might even be sleeping. But when you put something on your schedule and say, this time is for my guy, this time is for my babe, you have to automate it, and that eases a lot of stress, because the weather for two is constant, and you're like, is this what we came here for? So because we are now in the abroad doesn't mean that. And some other people, their situation might be that they are not in a conducive environment for sexual intimacy, and that might be really burdening them, and be like, even if the pressure is too much, it has not gotten to this level, but the circumstances with which you are may not even permit that. Guys, you see, this weather for two is for as long as possible. So just calm down, be patient, consider your spouse, no matter how tired or how busy your day has been. Please put your partner into consideration, because there's nothing that the power of sexual intimacy cannot solve. Guys, I hope I'm speaking the mind of a lot of people here. Okay, number 3 reason why a lot of marriages seems to be having issues and falling apart will be lack of support. Now, a lot of people complain and begin to call their spouse useless, of no impact, and like, I'm better off without you, simply because they are unable at the moment to render domestic assistance or to be there for them in some regards. Now, let me put this out to you. You bring somebody, or you come with your partner from the abroad, and then you expect your partner, who has never done chores, who doesn't sweep, who doesn't cook, who doesn't do any tidying, and then you come with him or her to the UK, and you expect them to just enter into the flow of things. Like, really? Because back in their own country, they might have had helps, they might have had siblings who do things for them, they might have had family members who do all of these things that they have never done before, and you expect them to come and then they just fit into the role like they were born to do this. Now, a lot of people need to take a chill pill on this, because nobody is coming to visit you in your home to say, oh, their home is dirty, they've not done their dishes, oh, their floor is dirty. Allow your spouse time to fit into this role. Now, somebody will say, oh, I left the dishes before I went to work. I got back from work, I still met all the dishes, and my partner has been home, can't even think of doing anything, and I'm better off with that. If you won't do it, then you don't have to be with me. It's really overwhelming, I understand. But can we cut our partners some slack? Can we give them some space and time? This is a process for them to fit into doing all of these things that we want. A lot of people have never even had helps before. A lot of people have transitioned from having helps and, not having helps, and they are doing just fine. Yours will not be an exception if only you can be a little patient. Do the little or the most that you can per time. And that should not cause any rancor, and you're both beefing yourselves, you're both, you are both annoying each other, you're both detesting and calling yourselves names. Because one partner says, I will do it, but at my time. But you want it done at a particular time. Now, good luck for those who have kids who have grown a bit, who can assist with some of these house chores and all of these things. But for those who do not have or have little kids, which is even more challenging, you can manage, you can cope. Everybody who's been here possibly have gone through that phase and they've survived. Yours will not be an exception. Just take it one day at a time. Your partner is not the problem. And the fact that your partner is not being able to, fit into that role right now doesn't mean that he will never be able to, or she will never be able to fit into that role. So please calm down. Cut your partner some slacks. Allow them to grow into these things that they are not, used to. All right. My number 4 reason will be change in financial dynamics. I know a lot of people relocate and, they come with some money, some a lot, some not a lot. And they're like, okay, before this money is exhausted, we would have been able to stabilize. And, when you get to the abroad, you realize that, the money is going down so fast. And one of the things that I know that could cause a lot of tension for couples or for spouses is financial tension. When you realize that the money you have is going down and nothing is coming in, and you are beginning to, oh my God, and I know the men, on this especially can be something else when they realize that money is going down, especially someone who has, never been in that situation where they are helpless, no income is coming in, and the little you have, you see that it's going down so fast. Guys, let me tell you, there are ways you can manage in the abroad. There are apps that offer free items. There are apps that offer as little, amount for things that you might need. There are charity shops that you can go to, and you can help manage your finances in a kind of way. Another aspect of this financial dynamics is, one person begins to earn. For example, in my case, I came in as the main applicant and I started work immediately, and I started to earn as soon as I came in. And it did give me any feeling of superiority that, oh, I'm earning now, I'm in charge, no. Two works together as one, and that's what I expect it to be. No matter what your financial life used to be back in your home country, things are really different now. It could be either party. I didn't used to pay so much bills back in my home country, but here now I'm able to pay, and I'm happy to do it. And it doesn't make me feel any type of way or any superior or any better or anything. So your financial dynamics will change. Please be patient with your spouse. Things might be a little different. You need to learn and unlearn some things. It doesn't have to be the way it has always been, but it all gets better along the way. When your partner begins to earn as well, then you're able to plan, you're able to manage, you're able to do things, together. Nothing is worth throwing your marriage out of the window for, because whatever it sees that looks like it's high up there is still going to come down. So complaining and nagging and saying this because she's the one, is the one, no, please, let's calm down. Whatever goes up will definitely come down, and yours and your marriage will not be an exception. So you don't trash it, you don't throw it out of the window just because you are having, And the funny part is that some of these things happen within the first 1 or 2 years of relocating. And I understand it's not what you've been used to. It takes a lot of adjusting, but you will eventually get there. You can open up and seek advice, how have you been doing it? And people will be happy to help or to share, right? So my number 5, reason why marriages are having a hard time in the abroad will be overwhelm and lack of quality time. Let me tell you how bad it could be. Now you relocate to the abroad, you've left your friends and families back in your home country, and then you get here with your spouse and you are constantly on the phone talking to people, and the little time that you are not at work, rather than spending it with your spouse, investing, pouring, nurturing, and then you are always on the phone talking to people outside, and you seem to be even getting much more closer, giving them details of everything that is going on than the partner that you are here with. Definitely your partner will feel ignored or out or irrelevant if you are not spending. I mean, the little time that I have, to stay at home and my partner is at home is quality time for us. We give all the gist and we try as much as possible to reduce the gist about work this, because I know it can really be, when you get into a new work environment, it can really be exhausting and you want to say every little details of what is going on with you and with your day and all of that. Can you cut it down a little bit and pay attention to your spouse and give your spouse quality time? Make them feel seen, make them feel loved, go on walks if it's not too cold for you. Make them feel the impact of you being available, because a lot of times you are not available. So the little time you are available, can you spend more time with your spouse? Pour a little more love on your spouse and you will see that things begins to take a new turn, go on smoothly, better than it was. Now you didn't know these are part of the things that are killing your marriage or making things go sour, but now that can you take a new turn a new leaf and try to balance things? Not every time on the phone with your friends or with your family in where you left, and then you are ignoring the spouse that you've got here. Last thing I want to talk about today, my number 6 reason, will be prayerlessness. Guys, the truth is that the life here is so much on a fast lane. And if you're not careful, you will lose a lot of things. And one of those things is even this marriage that we're talking about. And how do you create balance to make sure that it was a sure banker for me that no, because I'm abroad doesn't mean that I don't know how to pray anymore, doesn't mean that prayer is not important, like God has done the highest thing. Hello, there's still a lot of grounds to cover. Guys. And so you don't want to say, I'm too busy, I'm too this, I don't have time. Even family prayer time, despite the fact that a lot of times you all are not even together in the same place. How do you make up for it? Because anybody who knows how to pray knows how to win. And if you take that out of your marriage, what is left? Sometimes when we are not together with my spouse, what we do is that even while I'm at work, we pray over the phone. It's still a means of connecting and, connection even to God. So the little time that you have, don't throw things that have been of value to you and to your family and to your marriage. Don't throw it out of the bin just because things are a bit different now. I know it's not easy, especially for those who have little or younger kids, managing sleepless nights and all of those things. I know it's really hard. I found it really hard as well. But there's a point where you get to and you'll be like, no, this is becoming a norm and this is not the way to go. There's no joy in saying that, or the news that we hear all the time that since they've relocated now, the wife. That's why I said my gender seems to be doing a little too much. My gender, can we calm down? And to the men, can you be reasonable? Can you do a little more? Can you pour in a little more in your marriage? And don't just be all the time on the phone speaking to people outside and then you're ignoring your partner in the home. No, guys. I believe that we can do better. There is nobody that prepares you enough for these challenges that will likely rock your boat. But with God on your side, everything can work out just fine. No, nobody says there won't be itches along the way or there won't be, mountains and, all of those things. But if you are together and you know that you are in this our coming to the abroad is not for us to say, well, now we have irreconcilable differences. He's not listening. Give it time. Give it time. Give it time and bring God into it and everything will be just fine. Okay? Thank you so much for being a part of today's video. It is my desire that no marriages will crash or will go their separate ways on the basis of relocation issues or differences or whatsoever. I pray that God upholds every of our homes, even as, you're making plans to relocate or you have already relocated. this is time to hold yourselves together in one accord and be the best, have the best of times that you can even imagine in your marriage. Thank you so much, guys, for being a part of this video. If you've not liked, you've not shared, you've not subscribed, guys, what are you waiting for? Please like, share, subscribe, comment, and smash the notification button. Tell a friend to subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Thank you very much. Bye for now.